Hello and welcome to another episode of Osgoode Community Chronicles, where we explore the rich history, vibrant events, and remarkable stories that make up the Osgoode ward and surrounding communities. In each episode, we dive deep into our local heritage, drawing from the meticulous records and research of our local historians and families. These invaluable resources allow us to bring you stories from the past, ensuring that the traditions that shaped our community are shared with future generations. Whether you're a lifelong resident like me, or a newcomer, join us as we tie our fascinating history to the present-day version of our beloved region of Osgoode and surrounding communities.
I'm your host, Tracy Daviero. I apologize for not coming to you with an episode last week. I was much down and out sick. I don't know what kind of flu I had, but I stayed very close to the couch for almost 5 days. I still have a cough, but the fatigue and body aches are gone, and I am very grateful for that. So apologies for the voice. You'll get to know that about me. It happens from time to time, and we just push through. But I do hope that this episode finds you all in good health. In today's episode, we have news and events calendar as usual. In our business segment, we're going to talk with Carly Scharf from Oh Yeah about the Goode Run that's coming up in May. And our historical segment spotlights the Scharf family because we love Carly. On our Community Voices segment today, we're going to hear an excerpt of the interview that my marathon running aunt and yours, Aunt Vi Turner, did in 2019 with Adrian Harewood of the CBC. And we'll finish up with another mental health moment. Let's get into it. Every week on the podcast, we'll share some of the local events that are taking place in the area. So many great people doing great things. Be sure that you get out to support them. Check into our community calendar for all the events that we mention on this podcast. You can find these ones and many, many more on our website at osgoodecommunitychronicles.com/calendar. This weekend, tomorrow, April 5th, we have our Fall in Love with Maple event at Kempville Campus Agroforestry Center. Ooh, say that 10 times fast. There's a pancake breakfast, maple syrup production tours, taffy making, live music, and everything maple. I do hope that they have great weather for it. We've been having a tough go lately, haven't we? They have gluten-free options available, and the pancakes are served by Kempville Youth Center and Kempville Rotary. Also this weekend, the Manitic Fire Station is having their pancake breakfast, and that starts at 8:30 a.m. and goes till 11:30 a.m. It's $8 for adults and $5 for kids, and the funds raised are going to go towards Share Community. Dance the night away with the Chicken Fried Band at the Russell Legion tomorrow night, April 5th at 7:30 p.m. The doors open at 7:30, the band starts at 8, and it's $20 a ticket. You have to get your tickets in advance. On Thursday, April 10th, there's a CPR course coming up with Chris Hertubis in Metcalfe. Now, I was in touch with Chris about his courses, and we've got them all listed on the community calendar. But this week, he's doing standard first aid, CPR AED level C blended classes, and they are on April 3rd, April 11th, and April 12th in Metcalfe. So you can get the information on our website about that. On Saturday, April 12th, starting at 8 a.m., the Osgoode Cars United Church has their monthly community breakfast taking place. Always an amazing place to go. April 12th also in Kempville is the St. Michael Spring Craft Show. That begins at 9:30 a.m. and goes until 3:30 p.m. And there are over 100 vendors. Lots of returning people from the successful first spring craft show that they did last year, and lots of them from their Christmas craft show as well. So come shop for Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, or just whatever you want. Coming up on the third Wednesday, which is April 16th, there is another meeting of the Men's Mugs Group at Osgoode Youth Association, starting at 10 a.m. and running until noon. You can get in touch with Lynn Rourke to register for that. Other things we have coming up in the next couple of weeks, we have the Easter Farmers Market coming up at the Greeley Community Center with over 50 local producers selling everything you need to celebrate Easter, and that is put on by, of course, the Metcalfe Farmers Market. The Optimist Club of Russell is hosting their annual Easter egg hunt coming up on Saturday, April 19th from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m. at McDougall Park. It's a free family activity with games, prizes, photos with the Easter Bunny, and more. And there's also an Easter centerpiece workshop, Easter eggshell workshop coming up in Winchester, and that is hosted by the Planted Arrow. And you can come and create a lovely Easter centerpiece designed in a layered eggshell ceramic with a cute little egg-filled bird's nest. Sounds really, really cute. That's a paid workshop, and it starts at 2 p.m., runs till 4 p.m. Saturday, April 19th at the Planted Arrow. On April 19th and 20th, the Railway Museum of Eastern Ontario is hosting the Eastern Express train in Smiths Falls. There's a lot of stuff challenging my pronunciation this morning. Enjoy a ride in a vintage caboose, visit the petting zoo or take a pony ride, and enjoy the rolling stock exhibits and interactive children's steam train. Lots more activities too. Tickets are available on Eventbrite. And for the rest of April, we have a couple of other things coming up. The ITR show Geezers, a funny, heartwarming drama about growth and wisdom, learning and loving life and death. It is April 26th is their dinner show, and the box office is open now. And finally, on April 26th, the Rural Ottawa Youth Mental Health Collective is hosting a mental health first aid training course for mentors of rural Ottawa youth. And the course is going to be at Oh Yeah, and it costs $30. It's open to coaches, youth workers, Scout and Guide leaders, and others 16 and older. So get in touch with Carly at Oh Yeah to get your registration set up for that. And of course, check in with our youth associations in Osgoode, Greeley, Manotick, and Kemptville, and check out what they have going on in their regular weekly programming and their special events as well. And our legions also have regular activities that take place. We've got them all listed in our community calendar. So check it all out at osgoodecommunitychronicles.com/calendar. And I hope you get out to support all of these incredible events. In this week's Business Spotlight, I was happy to sit down with Carly Scharf from the Osgoode Youth Association so that we could talk about the Goode Run, which is taking place at the beginning of May. And this is a fundraising event for Osgoode Youth Association that takes place every year. And I'm very happy to have Carly here with us on the podcast to talk about the history of the Goode Run, what it's all about, how you can get involved, and a whole lot more. And you can listen in right here. So, Carly, I just wanted to talk to you about the Goode Run, which we know is coming up at the beginning of May.
Yeah.
And so you've been here a long time at Oya, and you can tell us everything we need to know. So why don't we start with how it started?
Yeah, so I actually wasn't... So the Goode Run is in its 12th-ish year now, and I say that because COVID kind of put a pause on it, right? So I've been at Oya as a staff for 13 years. It'll be 14 years this fall, which is crazy to think.
I know.
But so the Goode Run started back when I was just starting as a staff here, so I don't have the full history, but my understanding of the history is that we had a board member, Heather Rowe, and Matt Nasrallah, and a few other folks who were big in the running community, and we were looking at ways to fundraise for Oya, and they were like, well, why don't, charity runs are becoming a thing, why don't we put on a run? So for a really long time, Heather Rowe was actually our race director.
Okay.
And then she did it for, I want to say, maybe 6 years or so, and then she dropped off, and then we had Sam Doyon and Kristen Strackerdan did some race directing for us, and then the last, again, I think it's 5 or 6 years now, Linda Panich has been our race director.
Okay, yeah.
So we've had a few different race directors over the years, and everybody adds their own flair to it. And Nicole, of course, for that whole time was our executive director.
For sure.
So I just over the last 2 years took this over. So yeah.
I think it's, I love when people bring these new ideas, and, you bring a lot of ideas. I know that you get them from other sources and that kind of thing. Do you know where the original people, I know you said they were big in the running community. Do other communities do a run like the Goode Run?
Yeah, so there are a few different runs that exist. There's some smaller town runs, there's one in Richmond that happens. There's one, the Manotick Miler. There's...
Oh, that one I've heard of, yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise, they're Run Ottawa runs most of the runs, and then of course there's like Ottawa Race Week.
Right, and I know that lots of family members of mine have run through Ottawa Race and that kind of thing. We, the marathon we used to call it, right, back in the day. My uncle ran it, and a couple of uncles, and that kind of thing. But yeah, just being in the community and using it as a fundraiser, I think, is the thing that is most intriguing to me.
Yeah, so that is one thing that is uniquely us, is that we are 100% volunteer run.
Right.
So a lot of races are for profit or are just, they have to pay for all sorts of different things.
Right.
There are races, like, for example, like the Canada Army Run,
yes,
which does donate back to that community. But again, they work with for-profit places. So like for us, our volunteers that they have do all the road closures. Our run committees totally volunteer run. Even like the community police officers volunteer, firefighters volunteer. The only costs we really have associated with the race are like the medals, having race roster fees, having sports stat come out so that they can time people. But other than that, it's pretty much no cost.
That's amazing.
And that's super, super unique. So actually over the last, I'm gonna say 12 years of the race. I feel confident in us having this race for 12 years.
Okay.
Like I said, COVID has thrown a wrench in that timeline a little bit.
Yeah.
But we have raised over $250,000 for our
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And last year I think it was 20, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year was, I want to say like in the ballpark of $23,000.
That's incredible. It's incredible. So okay, so tell me how many runners come out on average?
Yeah, last year we had 378 runners.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot.
Which is like,
don't know what I expected, but it wasn't that.
It is quite a few people. So again, we had this fun for like our 10-year anniversary. We made this little video. That's, if you go on the Good Run page on Facebook, you can look under videos and see it.
I saw it. Yeah.
And it has some really fun stats in it. So like at the 10-year mark, which again was only a few years ago, we had seen over 2,500 runners. We had ran, I think the total kilometers was like just over 17,000.
Wow.
So it was all the way like to Chile and back or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, on average we see like a slow year for us would be closer to that 300 and a busier year is closer to like that 400.
For sure.
Because we offer walk-up registration. So some people wait to see what the weather's going to be that weekend.
Yeah.
It is more expensive at walk-up though. So if you want to wait, that's totally fine, but you're going to pay more money.
Right. And it's not just the local community. It's open to anybody who wants to run?
Yeah, everyone and anyone. And our 2K is also super fabulous because we allow strollers. We had somebody in a wheelchair last year do it. People can bring their dogs on the 2K as well. Yeah. So it's very like family oriented. Walk it. Lots of people walk the 2K. And the 5K is a little more like we have time. Like it's a timed race and people tend to like run that or like work towards running a 5K.
Those are the crazy runners. Exactly.
Oh, so, I know. We had someone one year. She lives in Metcalfe. And she ran from Metcalfe to the Good Run, did the 5K and ran home.
Oh my gosh.
And I was
That'd
like...
be my uncle. I know. Phil, if you're listening, that's you. We're talking about you. Yeah. Well, I'll just run out. It's okay. It's only 5K. I mean, they're marathoners. I understand.
Oh my God, not me though.
No, me neither. So, okay, so fundraising and obviously lots of people coming out, lots of volunteers. What is your volunteer base like? How many people help you get this thing done every year?
Yeah, so our run committee is about 6 people. They do various jobs between logistics, managing the volunteers day of, getting prizes, sharing outreach, that sort of stuff. And then day of, I think last year we had 38 volunteers.
Crazy, that's amazing.
So it's primarily for roadblocks, to be honest. And every year there's always people who go, I didn't know the roads would be closed.
Yeah.
But the week before the run, we actually, our after school program to get them involved in the race is they walk around the village and they put out the race route signs.
Right.
So like if you live on that street and you notice a new sign on your street, it's telling you there's going to be a road closure.
Exactly. Yeah, people just don't think. That's funny. So are you still looking for volunteers? Like, how can people get involved if they're not runners then?
Yeah, so we want to encourage people to come out to Race Central. Okay. If you're running or you're not running, come and join us. We have the No-Go coffee truck there. And you're actually the first to hear this. Even the race committee doesn't know this. But we have the Mary Dairy pop-up truck coming, and that's open to the whole community.
Awesome.
So they'll be there as well, serving some ice cream, and they have vegan and gluten-free, and Yeah, so that's a super exciting addition this year.
That's amazing.
But we also do, like, people wear costumes, come and cheer on the runners, or if you're on race route, like, sit at the end of your driveway and cheer the runners as they run
That's
by.
a great idea. Yeah, because like you want to be able to support it, right? Anything that's going on in the community, we want attention on it, and that's a little bit why we're talking about it on the podcast, and a little bit about getting the information out to the community so that they don't just not. It doesn't take very long, right? Like you sent me the schedule. It's only a couple of hours on the Saturday morning. So honestly, like Lincoln, you miss it if you're not here.
Yeah.
So you want to be here. That's
yeah,
awesome.
and we turn, so it's down at the arena is where Race Central is.
Okay.
And we flip it. We get a stage out there. We get the trucks out there. We get bubble machines going. We have music playing. Awesome. And we really create like a vibe, but it's crazy because we start that about like 7, 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then by 11:30, everyone's gone, and that's the end of it. And
That's
it's
right.
as if we were never there.
That's right. Yeah. I know a couple times I've left the house late and missed it completely and just thought, oh, that's right, that was this morning, but you're gone, everything's all cleaned up, and you would never know that you were ever there. So it's pretty neat stuff. So okay, so remind us of the date again.
It is Saturday, May 10th.
Perfect.
And our 5K kicks off at 10 a.m.
Okay.
The 2K kicks off at 9 a.m.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to put lots of information on the website about the Goode Run and send you to that 10-year video, because anything that can get people fired up and inspired about what you have done before is exciting, and we want to be able to share that. So
yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Anything else you want us to know before we close out?
Just that the race is in support of the Osgoode Youth Association.
Perfect. Then we should have said that. I mean, I know that. Didn't you get that? I don't know. Maybe you didn't get that. So. Perfect.
So what we do at OYA is we run programs for youth in grades 1 to 12. We have an after-school program. We do day camps. We do teen drop-in, and that's probably one of our best attended programs. So sometimes we see anywhere from 10 youth up to 20 youth, and these are teenagers who really have nowhere else to go, and they're coming here and they're getting good and valuable mentorship. It's really hard to find funding for that program.
Yeah.
Funders want to fund very specific program objectives, and with Teen Drop-In, we're having conversations about like bullying and racism and safe stuff, you know, like.
Yeah.
So they're not getting that mentorship sometimes elsewhere in their lives, and this is the only maybe positive influence they have. But because it's not structured, it's hard to convince funders of it. So not that the Goode Run directly funds our teen drop-in program, but it does have a big impact on our ability to host that program.
Right. And I mean, you know, I know there are other youth associations that are around us in the community as well, and they're trying to get that traction that you guys have here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about, oh yeah, another day for sure. But, you know, I can see that. I mean, you know, we're talking about them now, and Kempville, you know, Metcalf, Manotick, really everybody is trying to get their youth into something that is similar to this, and it costs money to do that.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. So finding the ways to be able to fund those things that, like you say, might be difficult to get sponsorship or grants or whatever for is really, really important. So I love that this has been something that is such a valued event in the community, and that it is providing the results that you want to. It's I mean, you guys put an awful lot of work into it. I know my sister was on, I think she was on the committee, or she helped, or whatever.
Yes, she did.
She was involved for a while anyway, and I know a lot about what happens with it, and it's all, you know, it's all down to just the structure of and the people that are doing it, like you. So it's awesome. It's great.
And speaking of Lynn, she actually is making our medals this year.
Oh yes.
So our 2K and 5K medals are these beautiful little wooden Goode Run medals made by Lynn.
Nice. Good stuff. Casablanca Designs. There you go. So awesome. Okay, well, I will let you go for now, but we will come back to this another time. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
And there you have it. Thanks, Carly, for giving us all that amazing information about the Goode Run. I should say it is the ASL Goode Run this year, and that is because ASL is the title sponsor, which is amazing. And it takes place on May 10th in the morning, and you can get all the information that you need at the OYA website, and we will put all the details on our website and links to register, etc. too. So it's going to be a terrific event. I hope you are able to take part, and thanks again, Carly. And that is our business spotlight for this week. In today's historical segment, we are covering the Scharf family. And the Scharfs came from Ireland, and there is a very large, very detailed headstone in Old Leland, Carlow, Ireland, and it is erected by the Scharf family. And there are 4 spellings of Scharf: Scharf, S-C-A-R-F, Scharf, S-C-H-A-R-F, S-C-A-R-F-F, and S-C-A-R-I-F-F families. And this stone was erected in memory of their ancestors from Bonry, Ridge, Old Leland, and Coolcullen in Ireland. And there are many, many names on it, and it's quite remarkable, actually. It's probably the most detailed one that I've ever seen. So I want to start with some people who are at the top of it, and that is James Scharf and Anne Catherine Bradley. They came here from Ireland, and they had 14 children of their own. Now, the one thing you'll know about the Scharf family, or you'll learn about the Scharf family, is that they were a very large family. If you've ever heard the last name Scharf, you're probably, it's probably a really good reason for that. This family in particular had many, many children. So I'm going to break it down a little bit, and of course, we're going to make a tiny little connection at the end. So James and Anne Catherine Bradley had 14 children. They had Esther, William, Thomas, Eliza, Rachel, James, Charlotte, William, Absalom, John, Enoch, Joseph, and Beauchamp or Beauchamp. I think they pronounced it Beauchamp. Now, this initial sort of arm of the Scharf family is the line that connects down to some of the Scharfs that you might know in our area. And a couple of notables: Thomas Scharf Sr. married Sarah Saunders. John married Catherine Elizabeth Booth. Enoch married Mary Catherine Brennan. Joseph married Catherine Saunders. And Beauchamp is the one that I want to just spend a moment on here. Beauchamp is the father of 21 children. Like, that's unbelievable to me. I believe that's the most I've ever seen in any of the sort of research that I've been doing for the podcast so far. He was married 3 times. He married Mary Ann Saunders, and they had 3 children together. She died at, I believe, age 30. And then he married another Mary Ann Conley, and they had 11 children. And then the third marriage was to Frances Dawson, and they had 7 children. So Beauchamp, who was born in 1804, so this is going back quite a ways, he was the father of 21 children. Like, unbelievable, right? And so I queried my family to say, how old do you think he was whenever he passed away? And of course, 70, 90, over 100. He died at age 58. So that to me was just quite an amazing statistic, or an amazing sort of thing to learn about Beauchamp Scharf. And he is the youngest of the family of James and Anne Catherine. As we move down this family tree, we move to Thomas Sr., who married Dorothy Reynard, and they had 11 children: Beauchamp, Thomas Jr., Annie, James, Joseph, Margaret, Rachel, John, Anne Maria, Benjamin, and Jane. Moving down that family tree, we go to Thomas Scharf Jr., who, as I mentioned earlier, married Sarah Saunders, and they had 8 children: Margaret, Enoch, Mary Ann, Elizabeth, Thomas, Robert, James, and Joseph. Going down another rung, Enoch married Paulina Scharf, and they had 11 children: Agnes, Thomas Booth, Robert Uriah, Evelyn, Uriah, Catherine Angeline, James, Elijah, Sarah Jane, Enos, and Eli Saunders. Moving further down, Enos married Mabel Melissa Eastman, and they had 10 children. Kenneth Eli married Gladys Simpson. Morgan Robert married Lila Jackson. Earl, Russell, Minnie Olive married Robert Moore. Orma Ethel married John White. Elva Lillian married Harry O'Brien. Lola was unmarried. Amy Marion married Ernest Perot, and Lorraine, I found 2 records, married Norman Carson and Herb Roach. So not quite sure which one came first or second there, but she was the youngest in the family. Now, thankfully for many of the, well, I'd like to say the wives, the Scharf families are getting smaller in size as the generations move on. And the eldest of the Enos and Mabel family was Ken. And Ken married Gladys, as I said, and they had 4 children. Seems to me a little more manageable number, right? They had Rhonda, Ellard, Linda, and Marlene. Marlene married Herb Campbell, and they had 3 children. Linda married Garth Small, and they had 3 children. And Ellard and Christine Warwick had 1. And if you've been following along, do you think you can guess who that 1 was or is? It's our beloved Carly Scharf. I like to think that there we go. The Scharfs just finally got it right. The perfect scarf, right? There you go, Carly. I appreciate you. We all love you. You know that. And I thought you would like that little bit of humor at the end of your particular family tree. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you all enjoyed that. There are so many families in the area. I love to be able to make the connections with people that you know in this podcast on the families that we cover. And I hope that I was able to do that for you today. And that is our historical segment for this week. Today's Community Voices is an excerpt from a CBC interview that our Aunt Viola Turner did in 2019. She was 86 years old at the time and was interviewed as a participant in the Ottawa Race Weekend and the Ottawa Marathon. A little backstory. Aunt Vi and Uncle Alan Turner loved to run in marathons in Thunder Bay where they lived, and they were home one year it was 2004, in Osgoode Greeley area for a family event, and it was right around Ottawa Race Weekend. And they thought it would be fun to come the following year to run the marathon in Ottawa together. An unbelievable tragedy struck on the way home. They were traveling by bus back to Thunder Bay, as they always did, and there was a bus accident, and Uncle Alan was killed. Aunt Vi was seriously injured, and she was in physio for a couple of years after that, recovering. But she still came to Ottawa the following year to run the Ottawa Marathon. And I believe she's run just about every one of them since then. She is an inspiration to us all, even to Adrian Harewood. And if I thought I could legally play the audio from the CBC clip, I would do so you could hear her words yourself. But instead, I'm going to provide that link for you to listen to on our website and just read an excerpt of some of the transcript here on the podcast today. Here we go. Tens of thousands of runners are taking part in the Tamarack Ottawa Race Weekend, and one of the runners is Viola Turner from Manotick. She ran her first half marathon in 2005 to honor her late husband. At the age of 86, she's still going strong on the half marathon with her family this weekend. She works out 6 times a week and is a shining example for all of us. Please welcome Viola Turner here with me in the studio. I wanted to start this way. You have a very special motto that you kind of live by. Can you share it with us? What is it? Yes, it is. It's eat well, be active, and keep moving. And have you always been active and kept moving and been healthy? I've been healthy and active, but not in the running field. Just sort of working on a farm, growing up on a farm. It was lots of fun, lots of labor. It gives you a strong body at a young age, and then as I got older, I started running. It changed the style of my body. I had a little more strength to keep running. Who got you running? My husband got me running. My husband, Alan. He was in the military and an active, very active person. He worked out and he ran. We moved to Thunder Bay after he retired from the military and he became a teacher, and we joined the fitness center. He decided it was fun for all of us to get after, so we started running, and it was a little at a time. He was a distance runner. Our son Grant was into high school athletics. Our son was always active, so he and Dad were the faster runners, but my daughter and I took it very slow, and we just walked a block and ran a block. After many times, when I worked up to 2 miles, my husband said, "Oh, if you can do 2, you can do 3, and he gradually worked me up to the 10-mile. Do you remember that first run? Oh, yes, I do. What do you remember? I was scared. It was hot. It was warm, and I had never run before. There was a huge group, and a young lady came to me and said, "This is my first time to run. Can I run with you?" And we ran together, so that helped. But I had a great time, and I felt really good, so I continued running. And before I left Thunder Bay, I had run over 35 10-mile marathons. Just going back to that first race, when you cross that finish line for the first time, you're first at the 10-mile race, what's going through your mind? Happiness to be done, and the cheering from everyone congratulating you at that point. It was a great feeling to accomplish your first long run like that. So from that, I had done 2 marathons in Thunder Bay, and my husband had done it also. And when he was tragically killed, my son and I decided to run the half marathon in his memory because we had visited Ottawa prior to that weekend of the race. And we saw the runners in the city, a huge group of runners. And so he suggested we come the following year. And then he was killed shortly after by a tragic accident. So my son and I decided that we would do it in his memory. And we had a lot of family join us, and some had never ran before, but they did the run. And some of them are still running today. We had some family do the half, the full, the 10, and the 5. It must have been comforting. It is. And then we have a family gathering after at a house. Before I moved here, it was my niece's, and now it's at mine. When you approach your races, what's the kind of mindset? Do you have to psych yourself up before a run, or is it so habitual now that you're just you have to concentrate on getting your breathing and your pace coordinated. And it doesn't happen for the first step to take. It takes maybe a kilometer to do that. And while you're doing that, sometimes you'll say, "I'm never doing this again because I can't get that coordination." And once you get it, once your feet coordinate with your breathing, it's like you can just get that boost of energy to keep on going. Runners often talk about the runner's high. How would you describe the runner's high? I just say it's like that big breath of fresh air that gets into your lungs and gives you that to keep going faster. What do your friends think about your activity? Well, some of my neighbors who are seniors too can't believe that I can do what I'm doing. I shovel snow, I mow the yard, and get out and run or walk every morning, and I go to the gym, and they say I make them tired. Well, you're making me tired out of this conversation. What does your family have to say about it? My son has always been an active athlete in school and running, and he still is. The 2 grandchildren got running, and now I have a little 7-year-old great-grandson who is doing a children's run in the half in the Ottawa race region for the first time. And some of the runners that joined us for our half marathons after the year my husband was killed, they're not runners, but they became runners, and they're still running in this sport together. So what's the lesson that we can learn from your example? A lot of people aren't runners, but they're healthy. So I think choose what's good for you and for your body without changing your lifestyle. So with whatever fits your lifestyle to stay healthy, continue to do that. You know, for people who've never run the race weekend, half marathon, what's that experience like and how would you describe it? As a non-runner, it still gives you a lot of hype. You have to be out there. And they get very motivated, congratulating many of the runners that they don't even know, but for their pace and endurance level. What age can we start running? Someone told me yesterday that there's someone running a half in their 70s for the first time. So you're never too old. Now looking 10 years forward, what do you see yourself doing? It'll slow down, but it won't stop. Maybe, I don't think so, but I want to stay involved with doing that. And if I can't compete in a half, I think I'll certainly still do a 10 or a 5. Of course she will, and she has continued to do so since that interview. Aunt Vi is an inspiration to us all, as was Uncle Alan and anyone who does this type of thing. Thank you very much to Adrian Harewood for such a wonderful interview with Aunt Vi. As I said, I put a link to the entire thing on our website, and you can check it out there. I've just pulled a few questions and answers out of it to share with you today, and I hope you enjoyed a little taste of that. And that is our Community Voices segment for this week. In today's mental health moment, we're talking a little bit about how running helps your mental health. I've got 5 little ways. Number 1, it's a natural mood booster. Running reliefs endorphins, those feel-good brain chemicals that can help reduce stress, anxiety, and symptoms of depression. Even a short run or walk can improve your mood almost immediately. Number 2, clears your mind. The rhythm of running helps quiet mental chatter. It gives your brain a break from screens, noise, and to-do lists, creating space to think clearly or simply unplug. Number 3, improves sleep and focus. Regular running can help you fall asleep faster and sleep more deeply. Better sleep often means better concentration, memory, and emotional regulation during the day. Number 4, it builds confidence and resilience. Every time you show up for a run, even when you don't feel like it, you prove to yourself that you can keep going. That kind of mental toughness spills over into everyday life. And finally, number 5, it connects you to your community. Whether it's waving to neighbors on your route or joining a local run like the Goode Run, running offers connection, which is one of the best things for mental health. And that is today's mental health moment. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Osgoode Community Chronicles. I hope you enjoyed our connections from the past and our taste of the present. Now you know a little bit more about the Goode Run that is coming up, a little bit more about Carly and the Scharf family, and a little bit more about Aunt Vi and her history of running marathons as well. We are all about running, and I hope you got a few little tips about how running can help you with your mental health as well. Remember, you can catch all of our past episodes on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, or anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also listen online at our website, osgoodecommunitychronicles.com. We have a playlist that starts right at episode 1 for you. You can just listen all the way through. And don't forget to follow us on social media on Facebook and Instagram. Don't miss out on next week's episode where we'll share more news and events in your area and more stories of families past and present. Thank you so much for supporting our snapshot of our local community. I'm Tracy Daviero, and this has been Osgoode Community Chronicles, keeping our rural spirit alive, one story at a time. I'll see you next week.